everybody. It's that time. Is it that time, April?
It's that time.
It's football time in East Tennessee. Thank you for listening to Real Estate with Ryan. I almost forgot my name this morning. I'm so excited. Got Smokey here with us, and it's just a big, big day. Vol Nation around the board, and thank you if you guys are listening to Real Estate with Ryan. If for some reason you happen to miss us and you're watching this on social media, thank you for tuning in. Again, as always, my name is Ryan Coleman, your host, along with my lovely co-host, Miss April Coleman.
You got it. I'm here today.
Here today, representing the Vols. It's a big day for the fall as we start pretty much the last quarter of the year.
Yes.
So super excited to be with you guys. Talk a little real estate, talk a little football. Got a good show for you.
That's right.
We're talking about size. Is it the size of the home or location? So when you guys are purchasing your next home, your forever home, is it, do I get the most square footage and space? Or is it location? So we're going to talk about that today with Real Estate with Ryan. How do you balance between the both of them, and what's most important? Is it more space for all the kids and to expand the family out, or is it location close to my church, close to schools and shopping?
That's right.
And my friends, man.
I know.
And my friends. Got to be close to my friends.
That's right.
So we're talking about that Real Estate with Ryan. We've got a little housekeeping issues. Any thank yous, congrats you can think of?
We
sure
got? Do.
It's always the best time of the show.
I know. It is the best time of the show. It's my favorite part. So we have a lot of closings. Red Hill Lane, Brentwood with the Lloyds. They also purchased on Rockbrook. And Indian Gap. Congrats to them. And we have some new listings that just hit the market, which is West Blunt Avenue, the luxury condo that is downtown overlooking the Tennessee River, and the Neyland Stadium, of course, which would be perfect.
Is that a perfect time to intro that in? So I'll add into that. So if you guys are watching or follow us on our social media page, make sure you watch our vlog that we just put out. It was pretty awesome. I have to admit that our marketing team did a really, really good job. A little bit of extra work, but we went to two of these properties that we just listed, and we popped over to Neyland Stadium to go upstairs. I'm not going to tell you all the details, but I think you'll enjoy it. So you'll find that on our Facebook page, and give us your comments. You know, if you see it, tell us what you think. Do you like it? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Was it interesting?
What do you think?
I thought it was cool. We were
Well,
exciting. It was
for us.
It was a big day. I know we had a good time, and I hope you will too if you guys watch that and take a few moments for that.
You got
but
it.
That condo that you were talking about, April,
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. We talked about the downtown market and so much that's going on down there, and the luxury living with kids coming back to school is really a great opportunity.
Yes, and this is where, if you're from here, the old Baptist Hospital location, they took that away and then used that for the new condos, which is really neat. So they have a lot of cool amenities. You should see the pictures online. It's really nice. You can sit on the balcony, and when they do fireworks, the games going, whatever they have downtown, boats riding by, it's pretty neat.
You got your own boat slip. We got double parking, so it's definitely something you want to look at. Yeah, I don't think it lasts long.
Yeah, for sure. And then the other one that we just listed, active on the market, is Buck Highway out in Von Orr, and it has a ton of privacy with over 88 acres. It's really, really nice, secluded. That's what part of our topic today that we'll be talking about. But it's really neat. Check that one out. And then also Stratford Road is also close to downtown off Chapman Highway. It's a cute, cute rancher. I don't think it'll last very long, so get out there and look at that one.
It is cute. And just the updates that the owner did, and they're being close to their son. They're expecting another baby, and what you do for your kids.
Yes.
Yeah, so they just moved, and it's like, honey, we got another project.
Here we go.
So it's super excited. That shows very well. Also in the vlog, so if you see it, make sure you watch it on our page.
And one more, we have a rental up that is on Ivy Gate, right in the heart of Farragut, right off of Campbell Station Road. So if you're looking for a really nice home to rent, then check us out on that.
Yeah, really nice, $2,500 a month. Beautiful area, great neighbors.
Super cute cottage.
Something you want to look at.
Yep.
So, April, as we talk to our show, we get into it. What do you think's important? So we have a lot.
Quiz time.
Here's quiz time. I know it is quiz time, man.
Why can't I quiz him? He always quizzes me.
Man, because it's my show, man.
I see.
Come on, man.
That's right.
It's better, man. I'm the interviewer.
I should interview Ryan.
Okay.
Since it's his show.
No, go ahead and
what
interview.
What do y'all think?
Hey guys, it's Saturday. I'm trying to get excited on the Vols, and my wife's giving me a hard time.
Oh, well, I always give them a hard time.
She does. She does. So what's more important, guys? So a lot of my clients, we talk about location. Is it the amenities? What's more important? Is it location or the square footage? Yeah. I know we want it all. We're like everybody. We want it all. I know we look for our new home. We wanted the location. We wanted the school district for our daughter. We wanted size,
but a great price.
And the perfect lot. Does that sound familiar? All the bells and whistles. And we want it for the cheap price.
Yes.
Hey, buyers. I mean, that rings the bell.
I know. See? We wanted what everybody else wants.
Then the reality sets in.
And then you're like,
there's always a price tag with a certain amount of upgrades and things where you want to go. So that's the compromise. What do you do? It's always a compromise. You got your forever home, but it's a budget.
Yeah.
And you have to sell one, or maybe you don't. And how do we put all that in the mix? Mm-hmm. And I think that's where we're coming up to what's more important for your family. Is it the location or is it size? And can we get it both, or a little bit of a compromise?
Right.
So I think the first thing you want to talk about is maybe where your family is today.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're a family of like 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, then you need that space.
Mm-hmm.
And let's talk about that space. Let's pick on your brother. Can we pick on him? His family. We can pick on him.
Yeah, you can pick on.
So let's talk with this. They're a millennial couple or younger couple, mm-hmm. and they have a growing family, and that was very, very important to them. And they did homeschooling, right?
Yeah.
So schools weren't exactly a big factor,
right?
But what was? It was space. Wasn't the space? Yeah.
Yes, because they were in a little 2-bedroom condo, and they were having more kids, and so they started running out of room.
They just started busting out the seams, guys. And if you know that, I mean, there's just not enough room, and you start going into your house, and you're looking, and there's kids everywhere, and there's no privacy. And us guys, there's no man time, there's no man cave. Oh, we've got to expand.
Separation, yeah.
Hey, that's the great thing about our business. We got an opportunity to sell that condo and help you find more space and more opportunity. So I would say that in the marketplace, space is very, very important.
Right.
And there's some compromise. Obviously, you want the best location and thing, but I think when you go that, you have to look at not only now where mm-hmm. you're at in the marketplace, but where do you see your family in the next 3 to 5 years?
Right. And they chose the size, but not all of the upgrades. So it was a little bit more of a dated house, but it was the exact size that they needed in their price range. So they chose that, and they're like, we can keep the green toilets. It don't even matter to us, that kind of thing. So you have to think about those things, what's important, what's not important.
And that's that give and take we tell all of our buyers and our sellers. So you've got the perfect move in, don't do anything, just put your furniture in, maybe paint the walls, mm-hmm. or we got that potential property where there's, it needs a little TLC. Mm-hmm. It needs a little landscaping. We need to do a little flooring. Maybe we got to remove some walls around. But the bones, you ever hear that? The bones or the structure is really, really good. Mm-hmm. And we got great neighbors. It's convenient to church and things like that we need to be at. And so then it becomes a project. But for when you're a budget, kind of that beer budget,
right? You've
got to look at that marketplace, and maybe you've got to consider some of those properties that have an opportunity where you can get that sweat equity. Mm-hmm. You can get in there and do a little painting. I think that's what we're telling with your brother is like, you can't change the structure, you can't mm-hmm. remodel it, and you can't change the neighborhood and where it's at in locality, but you can repaint.
Right.
We can adjust. It had this space for the bedrooms and the basement that mm-hmm. really gave that family that was growing, and now they've added to the family that they've got that whole basement so that now that you got a new one coming, you're not having to turn around and sell in the next couple of years where that equity may not be there.
Right.
I think that's the biggest thing that you have to think about is the home going to be able to handle your family if you're planning to add to that family mm-hmm. in the next couple of years?
Exactly.
And that could be babies or fur babies.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
got that right.
100% that's the case. What if you already have a large family, April?
What if you already have a large family?
So what is that space? I mean, is it harder to go back down?
Oh yeah, I would say it would be.
So if you're coming from a 3,000 square foot home,
would be for me.
Yeah, but so then here's the compromise. So what do you do when you've got that larger family, but now maybe we're switching from private, and we need to go because we got so many kids. We need to see. Mm-hmm. We need to go to Hardin Valleys. They got that brand new middle school,
right?
And then the public schools are doing so great that it makes more sense that for location wise, we could go put them in public school.
Right. Okay. That makes sense.
But the price point is so expensive because it's the
true.
hottest thing in the market.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we compromise that?
I would say you either need to make a decision. Do you want the price or do you want the location or do you want the
it's
size?
price and location, and then looking at all that inventory that's coming up on the market, if there's any fixer-uppers. It's
Right.
hard in a tight market where there's less inventory. I know we're coming on a hard break. Thank you guys for staying with us so much. Real Estate with Ryan. We're going to be right with you, and we'll talk more about size of the home or location, which one matters. Thank you for listening to Real Estate with Ryan.
When it comes to the real estate market, turn to the experts that focus on you. With over 20 years experience, Ryan Coleman with Hometown Realty knows what it takes. It's the right marketing. It's the right exposure. Ryan and April will use their expertise each step as they guide you through the home buying and selling process. Ultimately, it's about results.
You need someone you can trust that is committed to you.
You have a lot of choices, but the choice is simple. It's Hometown Realty.
Your friend promised we wouldn't be homeless.
He promised. He's doing everything to fix it.
You need to call and have him fix it now.
Hey, man.
Found us a house.
No, not yet. Let me call you back. We're working on it.
Ryan Coleman with Hometown Realty.
He says he's doing the best he can do, honey.
Well, he's taken too long. I knew we should have gone with Ryan Coleman.
Choosing the right agent is never easy.
Call your hometown experts. We'll take care of all the details and make sure you don't get stuck in a motel. Thank you for tuning back to Real Estate with Ryan. We're talking about, is it space? Is it location? Hey, before we get more in the show, I want to remind you guys, thank you so much for following us every week here with Real Estate with Ryan. We get the next couple of days voting Best of Knoxville that's actually ending on September 4th. Ooh. So if you haven't taken a second to vote for us, we appreciate your vote, man.
Yes, we definitely would.
We definitely thank you guys for following us every week. It means the world. It's on our Facebook page, or you can go to knoxnews.com,
Yep.
okay, and check us out. So
get the voting on.
Get your vote in, man. We need your vote. Be like the politicians. I need your vote, man. Please.
I know, it's crazy.
So April was telling me on the other side of the break, you don't get to hear that, and she was like, well, what kind of question was that? What kind of question was that, saying, what if you're a bigger family? But what if you are a bigger family? I mean, maybe you got to step up your money, as Daniel was talking about. Maybe you got to step up your price tag, but you don't want to step up your price tag. You don't want to empty the wallet on that forever home. You want to be in your comfort zone.
That's true.
And you want to stay in that 20-year mortgage if you can. You don't want to push to 30 because, you're going to pay double for it, but that's the only thing that makes sense to keep your payments in range. So what do you do when you're that big family? And that was the question I was asking you, was like, if you're that big family and you're moving, how does that make sense and try to accomplish it? What I would say for that bigger family is what is most important. You've got to make a decision. Is school zones for your kids and your babies, is there a difference between Hardin Valley and this other zone?
Right.
Or is location, this is a big thing that most people don't think about. We're helping now, I know a handful of customers or clients that we're working with that have moved, sold their house in a year or two. Guess what? Their daughter has a new baby. Grandbaby's on the way. Mm-hmm. Then there's another baby. They got multiple grandbabies. You ever hear that? Uh-huh. Well, usually what happens is they need grandma. Yeah. Nana and Papa, they need Nana and Papa. So guess what? They're selling their house.
Right.
So the biggest thing, we just helped a lady in Kingston that wanted to be close to her son, remember?
Right.
And it was so important that the drive for the grandparents and the kids to make sure that proximity. Mm-hmm. So maybe the house is just maybe not the forever home, but they can do some updating.
Right.
But that location makes sense for the functionality every day. Yeah. That's what I would say.
Yeah. We also had a client that moved from, I think it was Kingston too, to be closer to the grandbabies and wanted in that proximity. And she said, I hope they don't move again. We've moved wherever they've moved.
And that's what I tell all my clients. It's like, what do you do for your babies?
Around.
Do for your babies. Hoping my daughter and my son don't travel around town.
I know. I don't want to move.
Hey, that's where you get the fifth wheel. You get the grandparents on the fifth wheel.
That's true.
And they get mobile.
Oh, yes. That's very true. They can go wherever you're at.
So what if you're downsizing in that space as well? And we help so many seniors or people that are just, there's always a season, right? Mm-hmm. That this house is good for so long, and then an opportunity. We just don't need all that space. We don't need 3,000. We need to drop it down to 2,000. what they say is most people only use 4 or 5 rooms in the whole house anyway. You got all the formal rooms, and they're used once or twice a year, and so that's where you're seeing a lot of people jump into the space. And the condo market, why you're seeing that so popular, is they're over the yard, they're not on the tractor all day on Saturday mowing the grass, and they want to be active, they want to do their traveling, they want to be with their grandbabies.
Right.
So, what do you do there in that space, and the price point? Where at a certain age point in life, we don't want to spend so much.
That's
like
true.
Everything's so outrageous.
Yes, it is very outrageous anyway.
Any suggestions on that? Quiz? No, but I mean, with our clients, what we've seen before, knowing how do we walk them through when they're getting that condo? We start talking about that. Is it just price point, or is it more convenience for them?
I would say probably price point.
And then that's what you're seeing, because I think it's just the supply and demand of the product out there. Like, let's just talk about a client that we have just here recently that we just helped. Well, she's downsizing from 8 acres out in Kingston, but then look at the budget. What we're able to find for her is very slim pickings.
Very slim.
So you're almost where the budget will dictate some of that location and be in that one level.
Yes.
Opportunity.
Because she was very adamant about, I want to stay under this price range, so she had to go a little bit further out in order to stay in that price range, but get one level condo, kind of what she wanted.
Yeah, and I think that, and again, you see a lot of the similarities. She wanted to be closer to her son.
Right.
And that was, that's why I say location comes in to one of the bigger points. That's what is it, location or the house size.
Right.
I don't think the condo's nice. I don't think it wowed her. I think she's happy with it. But I think closer to the son was more important.
Makes her happier.
And yeah, I mean, I get that.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, what do you think? I think the biggest thing that you have to think about as well, that most people don't think about usually, is in that 5 to 7 year plan, location. And I always tell people, when you're looking to sell your home or looking to, sell yours and purchase another market, you could get a job transfer. You could get relocated. And I think one of the bigger things that you have to think about, not only that you want to get the best opportunity when you buy, get the best deal, right? But when you look at that property, what's the logistics of it possibly if you need to rent it out in the future? Market adjust some, we're seeing a little bit of correction. Is it a rentable property?
Right.
Or you get something like out there, we've just listed in Buck Highway, that's out there, really out there in the boonies, right?
Yeah.
What's
Very
the
private.
likelihood of renting that during that time? Don't you think that comes into play a little bit?
Yeah, that comes into play. If you want to be a landlord and if you want to rent out your property, then that's something to think about.
But I think that's where I want to push back a little bit is so on the actual, when you rent the property out, most people don't plan to be landlords. I mean, this is their forever home, job transfers, we're moving over to Texas. I just think these are things that you need to look at. And so when you're selecting a property, you always want to look at a worst case. So if I get a job transfer, I don't have the equity in my property, the market corrects. We've all seen that in the last 10 years. And you're going FHA, you're going VA, you're only putting 10 or 15% down. That's not a lot of money. If the market corrects at 10%, you're underwater.
This is true.
So you need to be, depending on what price point, obviously if you're that $700,000 or $800,000 or up excess $1 million, there's not really that demand of the rental market. So you need to factor that in. Where if you're in the 200 to probably 450 to 500, that move up market, you're always going to see probably that constant flow.
Yeah,
Just something to think about.
Yeah.
I think more importantly, if you're ever going to sell your home, you want to look at the numbers. You never want to be the biggest home in the neighborhood.
That's true.
So in our subdivision, we got this guy that's, when we were building, he's way up on a hill. And he's like that, the Taj Mahal. He's been building it for like 2 years.
Yeah,
and finally got it done. I was like, who's living up there? Is there Peyton Manning up there? And he's this long driveway. But if the market ever corrects, I don't know if the comparables or there's comparable homes for that particular property.
Plus, I don't think he was going to think that he was going to look over a subdivision. when
True,
he bought the land. So.
And then I think, you always keep that into factor when you're looking for property. Make sure that you have an exit strategy or a rental strategy.
Right.
Most people don't think about that. I think it's preference. I think at the end of the day, you're going to know what you're looking for, and you got to make that team decision. Me and April, we bought our property. Schools, we did all these things, like all these checklists, right? We did the schools, we did the what ifs, right? What if we go to private? What if we go to public? Try to do that cross.
How close do we want to be to the office? How close do we want to be to this or that?
But let's go back, because we got just a few minutes before we end the show. We did the same thing that everybody we helped through that process. Is we had to commute to work for like 30 minutes, right? And we had to go all the way from Halls to West Knoxville, right?
Yes.
And that became a bear.
Yeah, it was.
And so that when you get to that 25 and 30-minute commute, that's where it's like, hey, it's a 10 or 15-minute commute. That it really makes a big difference.
A big difference.
So what I would encourage to you is, if you're looking for your forever home and you're looking to purchase this last quarter of the year, you got to get with a good agent. You got to get with a good agent that's been there, kind of been in your shoes as well, and walk you through this process. I always do a checklist. I want to see everything that's out there. I want to make sure that I put things that don't meet my criteria. I want to scratch through those, but I want to look at my options. But ultimately, it's that list that we go through together, and it's that pluses and the minuses, and then ultimately, it's that feel-good thing, right? Do we have a feel-good ultimately, and you come to the eventual decision of your forever home. And so we hope you're super, super happy. Well, hope you enjoyed the topic, Real Estate with Ryan, talking about size and location. You know it's that time. I got Smokey here with us. So excited to kick off the football season. You guys maybe not listen to Real Estate with Ryan, maybe catch it on the replay.
Right.
But we're super excited to have you guys.
Even Kinsley was screaming for football.
Yeah, it's going to be her first game. We're going to take her to the Vol game today. So that's super excited. Enjoyed time over there doing the vlog and all that.
Yes,
guys,
definitely.
As always, you can catch us every Saturday here, Real Estate with Ryan, 693-SOLD, or visit us at ryancoleman.org. You guys have a wonderful weekend.
And don't forget to vote.
Hey, and guess what? Go Vols!